Pollution is a growing challenge, harming the health of millions of people and disrupting the climate. Reports on pollution and the environment showcase countries where these issues are especially severe. Cities with a severe smoke pollution and plastic-filled rivers are causing these countries huge problems. Now, let's break down the major challenges influencing their rankings and the reasons behind them. Like and subscribe, as in this video, we'll explore the 10 most polluted countries in the world. 1. Bangladesh. Bangladesh is one of the most polluted countries in the world, especially when it comes to air quality. The capital, Dhaka, is often covered in thick smog, making it hard to breathe. This pollution comes from brick kilns, heavy traffic, and factories that don't follow environmental regulations. Many people rely on outdated vehicles and burning wood or trash for cooking, which makes the air even worse. Rivers are also extremely polluted, filled with untreated sewage and industrial waste. The Buriganga River, once the lifeline of Dhaka, is now so toxic that the water appears black. Waste management is another big issue. Streets are often filled with garbage, and many landfills are overflowing. The rapid population growth and urbanization have made it hard for the government to keep up with environmental problems. Despite efforts to improve conditions, pollution continues to have serious effects on public health. Many people suffer from respiratory diseases, and life expectancy is reduced due to long-term exposure to toxic air. While some progress has been made, like introducing cleaner brick kilns and stricter regulations, change is slow. Many Bangladeshis struggle daily with unsafe air, dirty water, and poor sanitation. Without serious action, the situation could get even worse, making it harder for future generations to live healthy lives. 2. India. A country with a rich culture and history faces huge environmental struggles. Cities like New Delhi consistently rank among the most polluted in the world, with air quality so poor that visibility drops and schools are forced to close. One of the biggest contributors to this crisis is crop burning, where farmers set fire to their fields to clear them for the next season. Combined with factory emissions, car exhaust, and coal-powered plants, the result is dangerously high levels of smog. But the issues don't stop there. The Ganges River, considered sacred by millions, is heavily contaminated with industrial runoff, sewage, and plastic waste. Many communities depend on its waters for drinking and bathing. Despite its toxicity, waste management is another challenge. Some of the world's largest landfills can be found in India, with towering mountains of trash that continue to grow. In response, the country has made efforts to reduce pollution, such as investing in renewable energy and banning certain types of plastic. Still, enforcement remains weak, and millions of people suffer from health problems related to dirty air and water. If pollution levels continue to rise unchecked, the consequences for both public health and the environment will be devastating. A country with such a rich history and bright future deserves better air, cleaner water, and a stronger commitment to change. 3. Nepal. Surrounded by the majestic Himalayas, Nepal's natural beauty is world-famous, but its cities tell a different story. Kathmandu, the capital, struggles with thick dust, heavy smog, and poor air quality, making everyday life difficult for residents. Unpaved roads, construction projects, and brick kilns release massive amounts of pollutants into the air. Traffic congestion adds to the problem, as outdated vehicles release black exhaust fumes that linger over the city. When winter arrives, the pollution worsens, creating a choking haze that makes even short walks difficult. The water crisis is just as alarming. The Bagmati River, once a clean and thriving water source, is now filled with garbage, raw sewage, and industrial chemicals. Many people are forced to rely on bottled water, as the tap water is unsafe for drinking. Garbage disposal remains another pressing issue. Public waste collection is limited, and many residents resort to burning trash or dumping it in open spaces, further polluting the environment. While Nepal has taken some steps to improve its pollution problem, such as planting trees and regulating factories, progress has been slow. Nepal's mountains might be untouched, but its cities are choking under layers of smoke, dust, and waste, making daily life increasingly difficult for millions. 4. Nigeria. As the most populous country in Africa, Nigeria faces enormous environmental challenges. Cities like Lagos are overwhelmed with traffic congestion, leading to constant emissions from aging cars and buses. The use of diesel generators, a common solution for frequent power outages, releases even more pollutants into the air. As a result, many Nigerians suffer from respiratory illnesses due to prolonged exposure to harmful fumes. However, air pollution is only one part of the problem. Water contamination is another crisis, particularly in the Niger Delta, where oil spills have poisoned rivers, destroyed marine life, and made clean drinking water scarce. Large corporations responsible for the damage often avoid accountability, leaving local communities to deal with the consequences. Waste disposal is another ongoing struggle. Lagos alone produces thousands of tons of garbage each day, much of which ends up clogging drainage systems or being dumped in open areas. Plastic waste is especially harmful, creating floods during the rainy season by blocking water flow. If immediate action isn't taken, pollution will continue to damage both the environment and public health. The country's natural resources, from its rivers to its forests, are being pushed to the brink. 5. Pakistan. Few places in the world experience air pollution as extreme as Pakistan. Cities like Lahore frequently top global rankings for the worst air quality, with thick layers of smog hanging over the city for weeks at a time. During the colder months, visibility drops, flights are cancelled, and people are forced to stay indoors to protect their lungs. The causes of this crisis are many: vehicle emissions, industrial pollution, and widespread crop burning all contribute to the toxic air. But the environmental issues don't stop with the air. Rivers across Pakistan are filled with untreated sewage, industrial chemicals, and plastic waste, making clean drinking water hard to find. In Karachi, the country's largest city, broken waste management systems leave garbage piling up on streets and clogging waterways. Drainage systems are often blocked, leading to severe flooding during the monsoon season. Plastic pollution is also a massive concern, as single-use bags and bottles litter both urban and rural areas. The government has introduced some measures to combat these problems, such as banning plastic bags and investing in cleaner energy sources, but implementation remains slow. 6. Indonesia. Across Indonesia, environmental challenges are worsening, particularly in urban areas like Jakarta. The capital suffers from severe air pollution caused by heavy traffic, outdated public transport, and coal-powered industries. Smog often blankets the city, making it difficult to breathe and causing widespread health issues, including asthma and lung infections. Beyond the cities, deforestation is one of Indonesia's biggest environmental disasters. Vast rainforests, home to unique wildlife like orangutans and tigers, are being cleared at an alarming rate for palm oil plantations and logging. These activities not only destroy habitats but also contribute to devastating forest fires, which release dangerous levels of smoke across Indonesia and neighboring countries. Meanwhile, plastic pollution is choking Indonesia's beautiful coastlines. Beaches that attract tourists from around the world are covered in plastic waste, damaging marine ecosystems and harming the country's tourism industry. Despite government bans on single-use plastics in some areas, enforcement remains weak, and many communities still lack proper waste management systems. 7. Ethiopia. In Ethiopia, rapid urbanization and population growth are leading to increasing pollution problems, especially in cities like Addis Ababa. One of the biggest environmental threats is air pollution, caused by old, poorly maintained vehicles, industrial emissions, and the widespread use of wood and charcoal for cooking. Many families rely on these traditional fuels due to limited access to electricity, leading to thick indoor smoke that causes respiratory illnesses, especially in children and the elderly. Outside the home, pollution from factories and construction sites fills the air, making conditions in major cities even worse. In rural areas, clean drinking water is scarce, forcing people to drink from contaminated sources, leading to frequent outbreaks of waterborne diseases. The problem extends beyond just the cities. Deforestation is another significant challenge, as Ethiopia's forests are rapidly disappearing due to agriculture and the demand for firewood. Although the country has launched reforestation initiatives, including planting billions of trees, environmental degradation continues to threaten both people's health and natural ecosystems. Without stronger regulations and infrastructure improvements, Ethiopia's pollution crisis will only worsen. 8. Vietnam. Vietnam's booming economy has come at a high environmental cost, with pollution becoming a serious issue across the country. In Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, air quality is often so poor that residents are forced to wear masks just to walk outside. The main culprits are traffic congestion, industrial emissions, and construction dust. Motorbikes, which are the primary mode of transportation for millions, release enormous amounts of harmful gases into the air, creating a thick haze that lingers over cities. During colder months, pollution levels spike to dangerous levels, causing widespread health problems such as lung disease and heart conditions. Beyond air pollution, water contamination is another urgent concern. The Mekong Delta, one of Vietnam's most important natural and agricultural regions, is being polluted by plastic waste, toxic chemicals, and industrial runoff. The country's waste management system also struggles to keep up with growing urban populations, leading to overflowing landfills and garbage-strewn streets. Plastic pollution, in particular, has become a massive problem, with Vietnamese rivers and beaches clogged with discarded waste. While the government has introduced environmental policies, such as banning single-use plastics in some areas, enforcement is weak. 9. Cameroon. In Cameroon, environmental issues are escalating due to rapid urbanization, weak regulations, and a lack of proper waste management. Air pollution is particularly bad in major cities like Douala and Yaoundé, where outdated vehicles, factories, and widespread burning of wood and charcoal for cooking release harmful fumes into the air. Many people suffer from chronic respiratory diseases as a result, and the problem is only getting worse as the country's population grows. Beyond the cities, deforestation is a major crisis, as Cameroon's once thriving rainforests are being cleared at an alarming rate for agriculture, logging, and infrastructure projects. Water pollution is another pressing issue, particularly in urban areas where sewage systems are poor or non-existent. Many residents lack access to clean drinking water, leading to frequent outbreaks of diseases like cholera and typhoid. Waste disposal is also a growing problem, as public trash collection services are limited, and illegal dumping is common. Plastic waste clogs drainage systems, worsening flooding during heavy rains. If serious action isn't taken soon, the country's environmental problems will continue to harm both public health and the natural ecosystems that millions rely on. 10. Laos. Laos is facing significant environmental challenges that threaten both its people and its natural beauty. Air quality is a growing concern, especially in Vientiane, where vehicle emissions, industrial activity, and construction dust contribute to worsening pollution levels. One of the biggest sources of pollution is slash-and-burn farming, where farmers set fire to forests to clear land for agriculture. This practice creates thick smoke that spreads across the country and beyond, making it difficult to breathe and leading to widespread health problems. Water contamination is another serious issue. Many rivers, including the Mekong, are being polluted with waste from factories, untreated sewage, and agricultural chemicals. Rural communities, which depend on these water sources for drinking and fishing, suffer the most. Meanwhile, plastic waste is becoming a huge problem, as Laos lacks a proper waste disposal system. Garbage is often dumped in open areas, burned, or left to wash into rivers, further contaminating water supplies. Deforestation is another environmental crisis, as forests are being cleared at an increasing rate for farming, logging, and hydropower projects. The country's lush landscapes and rich biodiversity are at risk, and without urgent action, the damage could become irreversible.